A new Oklahoma bill aims to prevent porch pirates. Sentencing is near for the Harvey Weinstein case. And the U.S. looks for WikiLeaks co-founder to face charges in America. This is OU Nightly. Hello, and thanks for joining us for OU Nightly. I'm Chloe Sparks.
And I'm Kolby Terrell. We begin with a drastic drop on Wall Street today. OU Nightly's Tori King has the story. Tori, this is a big deal.
Kolby, this is a big deal. This is the third worst point loss in history for the Dow, dropping over 1,000 points today alone. By the time the markets close, the Dow Jones, S&P 500, and NASDAQ will all have declined by more than 3%. This drop is being blamed on the growing outbreak of the coronavirus as it makes its way to countries outside China, notably Italy and Iran, threatening to impact global supply chains and economies. Companies such as Apple and Tesla are among those directly impacted as the virus has caused factories in China to shut down, meaning a decrease in shipments of their products. The World Health Organization says there are now almost 80,000 cases of the coronavirus in 30 countries with 2,600 deaths. There is some good news in this, though. Market data does show that stocks have a tendency to rebound after taking a hit of at least 2%. We'll have an eye on it. Back to you.
Democratic presidential candidate Amy Klobuchar made her first campaign visit to Oklahoma. The U.S. Senator from Minnesota spoke out on health care last night at the Will Rogers Theater. OU Nightly's Tevis Hillis was there and has the details. Tevis?
At the Amy for America Town Hall, many gathered to discuss the future of our nation. While the auditorium was filled, one familiar face of the Oklahoma Democratic Party was in attendance, Alicia Andrews. While she stated specifically she is unbiased to the Democratic candidates, she did believe Klobuchar did exceptional.
I was asked, and I am honored to introduce a presidential candidate.
Andrews and many others had one concern: health care.
It's going to end in exactly a year and a half. Then we go into his savings, which isn't as much as it should be because he got married 3 times. Whole nother story.
As Klobuchar discussed her dad's story on healthcare, she poured in her own views of universal healthcare for all.
Healthcare is our big issue, and the fact that she understood that healthcare is a big issue nationwide, but that she understood it's a big issue in Oklahoma is it shows that she's paying attention.
Klobuchar also stated that she found 137 things a president can do legally in the first 100 days, most notably firing Secretary of Education Betsy DeVos. But if Oklahoma wants Klobuchar or another Democratic candidate in the White House, it will take this.
Oklahoma just shows up. If Oklahoma Democrats just show up, we win. When in the races, when we show up better than our 30% average, we win. So what needs to happen in 2020 in November is that Oklahoma Democrats need to show up.
For OU Nightly, I'm Tevis Hillis.
Pete Buttigieg will visit Oklahoma City this coming Monday. And according to the Oklahoma Democratic Party, Joe Biden is also being invited to visit Oklahoma before Super Tuesday.
Abbi Bennett has the latest on Harvey Weinstein and the rest of today's headlines from around the world.
Thank you, Kolby. The fall of one of the biggest Hollywood producers continued today. A jury convicted Harvey Weinstein of rape and sexual assault against 2 women. Weinstein has been accused of sexually assaulting women for nearly 30 years.
I hope that survivors will see that in this justice system, prosecutors, judges, and juries will believe them.
In 2017, whispers about Weinstein's behavior gave rise to the global Me Too movement. Weinstein's sentencing is set for March 11th. He faces 29 years behind bars. Weinstein's lawyers said they will appeal. And the extradition hearing for WikiLeaks co-founder Julian Assange began today in London. American officials want Assange brought to the U.S. to face charges related to illegally obtaining, receiving, and disclosing classified information in 2010. If convicted of all charges, Assange faces a maximum of 175 years in prison. Assange has been in a London prison since his expulsion from the Ecuadorian embassy in April. The British court will not rule on Assange's guilt, but rather whether to grant the U.S. government's request for his transfer to the States. And Katherine Johnson, one of the barrier-breaking NASA mathematicians depicted in film Hidden, has died. Johnson began her work with NASA in 1953 at Langley Laboratory in Virginia. Her contributions to NASA include making calculations to sync Project Apollo with the Moon Orbiting Command Module, trajectory analysis for the 1961 mission Freedom 7, which was America's first human spaceflight. She was also the first woman in the Flight Research Division to receive credit as an author of a research report for her work. And guys, she worked at NASA for more than 3 decades, retiring in 1986. Her work was groundbreaking for African Americans and women in STEM, and she was 101 years old.
Thank you, Abby. The company that operated the helicopter during the death of Kobe Bryant is being sued. Attorneys for Vanessa Bryant have said that the pilot, who also died in the crash, failed to use ordinary care in piloting the subject aircraft. The complaint also names the pilot's estate as a defendant, calling the company vicariously liable for his negligence. We'll have more on today's Kobe Bryant Memorial coming up in sports.
And Kolby, this quick shift in the weather today is making me wish I was a meteorologist so I could predict it.
Yeah, I sometimes wish the same, but we can always turn to our friend Martin Lowrimore for a look at the forecast. Martin?
Thanks, Chloe and Kolby. It is not a great day this morning, but it is not getting much better throughout the rest of the day. It's very cold. That north wind still.
Technical difficulties, but we're moving on. The hearing for the University North Park referendum is finished, and a petition for a people's vote on amendments to the city's finance plan has been decided.
Plus, online shopping is becoming the more popular way to purchase items, and those pesky porch thieves may soon have a reason not to steal your packages when we return.
Welcome back to OU Nightly. The OU Student Government Cabinet is in Washington, D.C., discussing issues college campuses face. SGA President Justin Norris is specifically focusing on the racial slur said by a professor in class. OU Nightly's Kelsey Hovanetz is live from Washington, D.C. with more. Kelsey?
Thanks. I'm out here in front of the Capitol with OU's SGA President Justin Norris. Now, Justin, it feels like OU's having racist incidents like once or twice this semester, and you've been around other Big 12 SGA presidents. Do you feel like this is something that's just happening at OU, or do you think it's more widespread than that?
No, this isn't just happening at the University of Oklahoma. Racism is something that exists in all facets of our life, in the Big 12 as well as outside of it. However, something I realized from this weekend is that everyone is actively working to combat it.
That's awesome. And a lot of students feel like this issue isn't being addressed, that it's being brushed under the rug. What steps do you think the University of Oklahoma can take in the future to make sure things like this don't happen?
In the conversations that I've been having with my fellow leaders, my administration, as well as the administration of the university, I constantly push for more proactive measures as opposed to reactive measures. I feel like the University of Oklahoma has been reacting for a very long time, so it's time to start being proactive and setting things in place to prevent things before they start.
That's awesome. So what skills are you hoping to learn this week while you're in DC?
I'm really hoping to continue developing as a leader in general, but especially working on communication skills with people within different hierarchies of leadership, so we get to actually go speak to different representatives for the state of Oklahoma as well as in general on behalf of the entire Big 12, so I think that'll be a great experience to represent OU well.
Awesome. Is there anything in specific you're looking forward to this week?
Just being in DC, it's really cool, right? Boomer!
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Justin. Back to you guys in Norman.
Thanks, Justin and Kelsey. It was great hearing from the both of you. The fight between Norman residents and the city council seems to have come to a crossroads. Lindsey Gibbs has more on the ruling of the hearing that took place today.
All right, thank you so much. Now, the court ruling has just finished behind me in the Cleveland County Courthouse. The ruling was in favor of the 4 former mayors who filed a protest against the University North Park's TIF petition. The Cleveland County Courthouse Judge Jeff Virgin ruled against the petition due to the legality of the document. More than 4,000 Norman residents signed this petition, and some showed up to the courthouse, rallying in support of the hearing today.
There were a bunch of people that were very upset and motivated and wanted to have a voice about this issue and wanted to have the public discussion and want to have accountability and transparency.
The petition was motivated by Norman citizens wanting a vote on amendments concerning city finances.
There are a lot of people who are in favor of this renegotiated deal who I think are focusing on the short run. They're focusing on this year. What do we need for this year's budget? We need some dollars now. And those are legitimate, valid concerns. I just think that it's too big of a giveaway of resources in the long run.
In response, 4 of the former Norman mayors filed a protest to the petition, succeeding in stopping it today in court. And with the judge ruling for the mayor's protest, the petitioners will have 30 days to file an appeal, and the petition will be striked from the ballot. I'm Lindsey Gibbs reporting live from Cleveland County Courthouse.
For more information regarding the University TIF amendment and what will happen next, you can visit Better Deal for Norman on Facebook.
In Oklahoma, lawmakers want to take aim at porch piracy. With the growing popularity of online retail, packages left on porches are easy pickings for thieves. A proposed new law would increase the crime to a felony for a repeat offenders. Norman Police PIO Sarah Jensen says the police welcome any help in deterring crime. The Get Tough House bill passed out of committee. It now heads to the House floor for a full vote. And this morning's weather was cold, gray, and gloomy, Kolby.
It really was, and I'd love to see a change, but I don't know. Hannah Gard is here with some news for the rest of the week. Hannah?
Yeah, we've had a cold and wet start to this week. Coming up, I'll tell you about the rain and snow chances we could have and the warming trend that's on the horizon after the break. It has been a drizzly day out there, but it's finally starting to lighten up. We're still seeing very cloudy skies, some low-hanging clouds over the Oklahoma City skyline, and we're at 47 degrees, but what's really making it feel cooler is this strong wind from the north at 17 miles per hour. This is what we're feeling for the most part across the state right now, those very high winds sitting from at least 5 to 15 miles per hour in most places, some even closer to 20. Those are coming from the north, so it's making it feel cooler. Our lows tonight in the 30s across the state, low 30s up near the Panhandle, and we're sitting in the high 30s in central Oklahoma, which is what we'll be waking up to in Norman tomorrow morning. Now, tomorrow is going to be fairly similar to today with those clouds, but we could see a bit more of the sun. What's really going to be the story are these high winds throughout the day, warming up into the 50s by tomorrow evening. Our highs across the state, a similar story, very strong winds in the Panhandle, sitting in the 40s, 52 in Norman, and we're in the 50s in the southern parts of the state with, again, that very high wind across the area. Now, looking at our regional forecast, our next chance of rainfall will come in the middle of the night tonight around midnight. We could see a band of rain moving through. It'll clear out into tomorrow morning, and then our next round of precipitation that we'll see here will be this wintry mix possibility throughout central Oklahoma. This will move out into Wednesday evening as this high pressure system moves into the area, but this snowfall is not going to be significant at all in terms of accumulation. Could just see a light dusting in Oklahoma City and Norman. This is Wednesday morning, but it's not going to be anything significant. Looking at our 2-day forecast, again, we're cold and cloudy. Could see that snowfall as we go into Wednesday, but by the end of this week, we will start to dry out due to that high pressure system getting into the 60s. By this weekend, we'll be at 66 on Sunday, high 60s at the beginning of our work week.
All right. Well, the weekend seems to look a little better than what we had today, at least.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Once we get through this next round of rainfall, we could have a chance for some snow flurries, but it'll clear up and we'll dry up into this weekend.
And if you're about to watering your plants, don't even worry about it.
Yeah, tonight we could see another round of that lighter rainfall that we saw last night.
Sweet. Well, thank you, Hannah.
Yeah,
Thank you. And the Sooner wins keep stacking up for the baseball team. Kolby, have you been seeing this?
I have. They seem to be off to a hot start, and Madison Daddario is here with sports.
There's no doubt about that. Sooner baseball is showing up and showing out on the diamond. And it was an emotional morning for family, friends, and sports fans as a memorial for Kolby and Gianna Bryant was held at the Staples Center. Don't go anywhere. Sports is next. Welcome back to OU Nightly. I'm Madison Daddario, and it's time for sports. Thousands of people, including names like Jimmy Kimmel, Beyonce, and Michael Jordan, flocked to the Staples Center this morning to remember Kolby and Gianna Bryant. Today's date holds a special significance for the family as it represents the jersey numbers of both Gianna and Kolby and the number of years Vanessa and Kolby were together. Moments before the memorial, news broke that Vanessa Bryant, filed a wrongful death suit against the helicopter company responsible for the crash, but she held it together as she spoke about the loss of her husband and daughter.
God knew they couldn't be on this earth without each other. He had to bring them home to heaven together. Babe, you take care of our Gigi. And I got Nani, Bibi, and Coco. We're still the best team.
It's hard to move forward from something so emotional, but let's talk Sooner basketball. The men's team lost Bedlam in Stillwater 83-66 this weekend. This brings the Sooners to a 3-game losing streak. Austin Reeves put up 22 points, but that wasn't enough for the Sooners. The women's team also suffered a major loss this weekend to number 2 Baylor at home. Now let's focus on winning. Sooner baseball continues to start off their season on a strong note. They took on Illinois State this weekend in a 4-game series. Claiming 3 of the 4 games, pitcher Cade Cavalli struck out 9 batters in the series opener, followed by 13 Sooners getting a run on the board. On the other side of the diamond, softball showed out at the Meridith Classic, run-rolling Nebraska 10-2 their first game, followed by 2 more wins. Unfortunately, the team did not end the tournament on a high note, falling to both Washington and Wisconsin to finish out the weekend. The Sooners still sit ranked 3rd, but with an 8-3 record. On the mat, OU Women's Gym remains unstoppable. Friday, the Sooners defeated Stanford in the Perfect 10 Challenge. Reagan Smith stood out, receiving a 9.95 on bars, followed by a 9.925 on beam. And teammate Olivia Troutman received the only Perfect 10 of the night on vault. And for even more OU sports news, be sure to check out Sooner Sports Pad tonight. Meridith Mulkey is here with a preview. Meridith?
Thanks, Madison. We have a packed show tonight, so you don't want to miss us on Fox Sports Oklahoma at 7:30. Track stars Essence Thomas and Golden Iki will join us in studio. We'll get up close and personal with the one and only Maggie Nichols, and we'll also spend a minute with baseball star Cade Cavalli. So be sure to join us tonight, and if you missed that one, you can catch the replay right here on OU TV tomorrow after our newscast. Back to you, Madison.
Thanks, Meridith. The OKC Thunder stood out at the Peak last night against the Spurs. The 2 teams ended the first quarter with an even score, but the Thunders pushed ahead, staying on top for the last 3, beating the Spurs by nearly 30 points, finishing with a 131-103 win. And check this out. This 84-year-old woman made a putt the length of a basketball court at the Ole Miss game this weekend to win herself a new car. Marianne Wakefield won a 2020 Nissan Altima as a result of sinking the 94-foot putt, and her excitement afterwards speaks for itself. This has to be one of the most impressive videos I've seen in a while.
I used to play golf, but I had to quit because my short game was so bad. I can't even fathom how she did that.
I tried to learn how to play golf. My dad tried to teach me, and I just couldn't do it. I blame it on being left-handed, but I think that's just me being prideful. But
thanks, Madison.
No turf to slow her down. And a new app makes it easier to make authentic friendships.
A woman took matters into her own hands when her brother had a difficult time making friends. Up next on OU Nightly.
I'm Tyler Deluca at the OU Nightly Update Desk. A Cook County, Illinois grand jury have returned a 6-count indictment on actor Jussie Smollett. This comes after Chicago police concluded an investigation which determined the evidence existed to further prosecute the former Empire actor. Police previously claimed that Smollett faked the attack in order to get public attention and further his career. Smollett is expected back in court on March 18th. That's it for now. Back to you in the studio.
In Kolby, there's this new app called Making Authentic Friendships, or MAF. It's all about helping people with special needs make connections.
Yeah, the app asks users for their name, age, location, and diagnosis, and then matches people based on diagnoses.
Special needs people all around the world are already making authentic friendships. MAF is currently used in 35 states in 12 countries. And Hannah, I hear that there's going to be maybe some flurries coming up, and we're not talking McFlurry, so why don't you tell us?
Yeah, we could see a chance for some more winter weather as we go into tomorrow night and early Wednesday morning. Now, this is not going to be any significant snowfall accumulation here in central Oklahoma, but you could see some flurries as you head out early on your commute Wednesday morning. Now, looking at the rest of this week, though, after that moves through, we're really drying up into the beginning of this weekend, and we're seeing high 60s by the beginning of next week.
All right, so a heavy coat tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in to OU Nightly. We're here every day, weekday from Gaylord Hall.
Good night.
Have a great evening.